A lot of locals indicate that they've never heard of the dish until a few years ago. That I understand. But what I don't understand is why they would go on. Good evening. We're back in the vicinity of Xinjiang Road. In the last episode, I introduced a summer noodle dish from a noodle shop located quite a bit of a walk from the Xinjiang Road Historic District. In this episode, I'm going to introduce another summer noodle dish, but from a shop just a short walk from Xinjiang Road. If you're excited for more noodles, hit that like.
It just so happens that this one-year-old restaurant, Su Mianzhai, descends from a century-old brand because its owner, Mr. Wang, is a pupil of Suzhou noodles heavyweight, Mr. Xiao, the proprietor behind Tongde Xin, which is the renowned noodle shop from the last episode. This outstanding pedigree is proudly put on display, and rightfully so.
你好，一碗那个上下面。好，谢谢。So, triple shrimp noodles, 上下面, our noodle dish of the day, or I guess it should be noodle dish of the night. And this time of the day is usually not the typical period to eat noodles. Actually, some noodle shops are explicit about not opening during the dinner hours. And locals, they usually eat noodles for breakfast or lunch. And actually, some of them consider noodles to be the motivation to get out of bed early in the morning. Speaking of local noodle eaters, some of them have gripes with san xia mian. Some gripes are substantiated, others are misguided. I'll share my humble opinion as I slurp. Hopefully, I won't be slurping too much. You'll see why in a second.
Sanxiamen is typically served with toppings and noodles separately in a setup called guotiao, cross the bridge. The noodles have lumped together a bit, but this is my fault because I want to take some shots. So a friendly reminder, shoot fast. Here the server helps the toppings cross the bridge into the bowl, then mixes everything together. She's very pragmatic with the mixing, which is totally fine. Some brands like Yuxingji have gone viral because of showy, flashy mixing, but mixing the noodles evenly improves mouthfeel. Thus, the process itself isn't a show, it is necessary.
Quite a show, wasn't it? But some haters would actually consider that to be too showy for noodles. I don't really understand why it's too showy. Salt Bay, that is too showy because there isn't any added benefits. But this isn't just for show. They mix the noodles better than you could. Trust me, I've tried. Triple shrimp noodles are hard to mix because the noodles tend to be not very soupy. And that is why I won't be slurping like I would with a noodle soup. The bowl has to be relatively drier to allow the shrimp roll to cling onto the noodles. Shrimp roll is one of the three components of triple shrimp. As I explained in a previous video about triple shrimp tofu. Triple shrimp dishes are mainly summer specialties because this is the time of the year when mama shrimp are loaded with roe. But thanks to modern food preservation technology, shrimp roll is basically available year-round. But some food critics would use this as an argument to ridicule triple shrimp noodles as having lost seasonal characteristics. I'm sorry, but if that argument stands, then the same people should ridicule basically any preserved food made and consumed not for basic necessity. For instance, sweet osmanthus syrup. It's a way to preserve the autumn flower for enjoyment during other seasons. It is totally inessential to a basic healthy diet, but it's widely available and is widely used, and no one's complaining, including myself. I have a jar in the fridge and I use it all the time. even for French toast. Triple shrimp noodles are widely available nowadays in Suzhou, but it probably wasn't the case back in the days, which is maybe the reason why a lot of locals indicate that they've never heard of the dish until a few years ago. That I understand. But what I don't understand is why they would go on to declare that the dish was invented a few years ago for tourists. Maybe the logic is that if a local hasn't heard of the dish before, then other locals must not have had eaten the dish either. So it must have been invented for ignorant tourists to splurge on. Well, that's an obvious logical fallacy here. Just because you haven't heard of sanxiamian before doesn't mean it never existed. I read in not one or two, but three books, coincidentally all published in 2005, which expound on the Suzhou sanxiamian. Uh, One author was born in the 1930s in Suzhou, a fellow city of Jiangsu province. So this guy was, old school, except he's no longer, with us in this world today. And the second author was born in Shanghai and hails from a family of writers. And the third author is a Suzhou native through and through, and an authoritative figure in the local culinary and literary circles. The whole book publishing process is a time-consuming ordeal. Therefore, I think it is safe to say that sanxiamian has been in existence for at least 2 decades, possibly much longer. But if sanxiamian has been in existence for so long, then why haven't regular folks heard of the dish before? Or maybe because sanxiamian was never meant to be a dish for the masses, but rather a dish for the rich. So it's not your everyday noodle dish. At least it isn't for me. This is a rare treat, and sanxiamian is expensive compared to other noodles. But if there is a city that deserves to call an expensive and exquisite noodle dish its own, that city is Suzhou. I've mentioned on numerous occasions how the folks of the Jiangnan region, especially the citizens of Suzhou, are well known for their refinement. And this refinement comes from development. Now, historically, Suzhou is one of China's most economically and culturally developed places. And I explained in a video from a year ago the painstaking labor required to prepare the triple shrimp ingredients, and why I think the sanxiamian epitomizes many aspects of Suzhou sophistication. There are plenty of other sophisticated Suzhou noodles that won't cost an arm and a leg. A lot of details and thoughts go into preparing the different kinds of toppings, and especially the deep, complex broth. But it's just that this bowl of refinement happens to be pricey. But this wide range of options are one reason why Suzhou noodles are awesome. Some are pricey, some are thrifty. Take a pick. For summer, there are the triple shrimp noodles, and then there are the big pork noodles of Fengtown or Fengzhen daroumian from the last video. I already committed blatant public display of affection for those. And then there are the fan-blown cold noodles or fengshan liangmian. Try those with a bowl of minty mung bean soup. We'll try all of the above, if you have time. Come and see the real beautiful China. Come try the different types of Suzhou noodles and decide for yourself. But if you come in summer, I implore you to try the sanxiamian. Triple shrimp noodles can be found elsewhere, but probably not as easily as you could in Suzhou. As I said in one of the linked videos, most Suzhou noodle shops are serving sanxiamian right now. and that means competition. And competition usually means progress. Frankly, even if the triple shrimp noodles were invented for tourists, I'm glad they were invented. So I love shrimp and I love noodles. So for tourists, consider giving the sanxiamian a try. And for others, consider giving sanxiamian the respect it deserves. 再见。